Zaltzman had a special landmark of his own yesterday, reaching 50 not out, and the TMS team gathered last night for a celebratory meal at the hotel, which you may have seen pictures of on our social media. Now, not only is Andy spending his 50th birthday in Multan, he's also missing out on his other day job as host of the news quiz on Radio 4.
Right, after taking in this week's news, I have had enough. So, world, you have just under half an hour to fix things, or I quit for the rest of the year. And let me make very clear that this is in no way linked to England's imminent cricket tour in Pakistan, in which I will be part of BBC's Test Match special team, providing exclusive coverage of every ball of every match from Monday morning. That is entirely coincidental. Right, so let's put a clock on it, starting now. In the meantime, welcome to the first test. Sorry, wrong show. Welcome to the news quiz.
We're on course for a maiden, Zaltz.
Yeah. Well, that would be Australia's 33rd of the series. They need to avoid having the fewest ever maidens in an Ashes series.
Which was one test.
Which was one test long, 56 maidens in the 1880s. They need to bowl
mad,
25 maidens in this innings.
You've had a busy couple of tests, you had, didn't you? Crikey, there's been some weird and wonderful stats flying about. It really has.
Duck Watch update 54 this year for England. That has equalled the all-time record set by England in 1998. I think they played one more test than England have this year. 54 ducks.
We're laughing here. Michael Vaughan's sitting beside me. No leave yet. No leave.
It's his 50th ball. It's 88th of the series. Still no leaves.
They'll come back for a couple, so he's able to get through and survive that over, and he picks up a couple as well. He's receiving applause from his teammates because he now has broken the record for Andy.
Most runs batting at number 11 in Test cricket. He was tied with Matthias Muralitharan on 623. Now 625. Jimmy Anderson just a few runs behind. A compelling battle, 618 for Anderson. Glenn McGrath, 603. Surely considering coming out of retirement just to try and reclaim his record.
I wanted to chime in with my favourite collective noun as well, by the way.
What's that?
Which is camels. Could you guess what a collective noun for camels is? It's a fun one.
A Humperdinck?
We're chatting about Zaheer Abbas yesterday and his tales at Andy Zaltzman's birthday party. It's a wild birthday party when we're talking about cricketers from the 70s and the 80s.
Proper birthday party.
Absolutely. Played some blues music for you. Well, the guys at the hotel, I think they tried their best. They looked at you and they thought, okay, what this guy's going to want
is Sabrina Carpenter.
Sabrina Carpenter and Katy Perry. But then we changed it up to the blues very quickly. You enjoyed that, didn't you?
I think there was a Katy Perry that probably played a few matches for Gloucestershire in the 1930s. Kenneth Terence Perry.
Atkinson runs in, bowls wide of the off stump. That went through. Waist high by Smith. My word, is moving well in those new pads.
Well, I treated them well on the journey over here. Handed them over yesterday.
The things that you get asked to do as a Test Match special statistician, I don't think it's ever involved in the past bringing out wicketkeepers' pads.
Yeah. Well, it was a great privilege.
Onerous burden. You took your duties very seriously. They're quite bulky things, though, aren't they? Where did you actually did you carry them in as hand luggage?
No, I checked them in.
Did you?
Yeah.
They went in the hold.
They did go in the hold.
You sacrificed space in your suitcase.
Yeah, I did. I didn't bring any underwear or anything. Just had to
shirts.
Get the pads over here. Yeah.
Yes, I was wondering about that.
You could have worn them in though. It's got that
worn them
annoying
on the flight.
squeak to them. Yeah, you could have.
Actually, that would be the way to have done it, wouldn't it? That's what Derek Randall always got his wife to do when she was doing the hoovering.
Really?
Break in the new pads.
Whatever keeps a marriage fresh.
Well, I know. I believe it has done too. Atkinson over the wicket, bowls down the leg side. There's definitely a noise. He's given out caught behind. They have fallen, I'm afraid, for fewer than 10. They're 8 for 1. Zaltz has a record a day after his 50th birthday.
The early breakthrough. Pakistanis losing. Zaltz is doing cartwheels around the box.
Yes, 7th consecutive single-figure opening partnership for Abdullah Shafiq and Saim Ayub, which is an all-time Test record. Also looking at pairs of batters who've had 7 or more consecutive single-figure stands. All the previous instances have involved at least one tail-ender. So they're the first pair of specialist batters in Test history to have 7 consecutive single-figure stands for any wicket.
Andy, you're waving furiously.
Well, it's a New England record. It's the fastest recorded 100 opening stand England have had in Test cricket
Ever.
Previously, the quickest they brought up 100 without loss in the innings contained in the ball-by-ball database on CricViz was 20.3 overs. 2 games at Lords, one against Bangladesh in 2005, that was Trescothick and Strauss, and Gooch and Atherton in the second innings of the 1990 Lords Test against India. So this is 4 balls quicker.
Athers?
Zaltz, Athers here, happy birthday, the big 5-0. I'm sure you'll convert it into a big daddy 100. Hope you have a great day. Always enjoyed your company over the years on tours and in England. I understand I was your subject on the Celebrity Mastermind, so you know more about me than I do. So here's a question for you. What was my dissertation in my 3rd year at university? Good luck with that one.
Well, there we go. Our scorer, Andy Zaltzman, who celebrated his 50th birthday yesterday. Others saying good luck with that one. So he is your hero. Or one of them. Yeah, it's overstated. Sorry, Alice, he's not your hero.
Hugely admired.
Okay.
Enjoyed watching.
Okay, you hugely admired watching him. Okay, do you know the answer to that question? What was his dissertation on in his 3rd year at university?
To be honest, it's not entirely true that, well, it's not even slightly true that he was my specialist subject on Celebrity Mastermind. I think it was Miles Jupp might have done that. Mine was Victor Trumper the first time I did it. However, if I was to guess what Mike Atherton's thesis was on, I don't know.
It's not easy, is it? Because you've got the whole panoply of the whole world, everything that's ever happened to choose from. It's not easy. Shall I tell you?
I don't know. Was it the life and works of the 1980s girl band Bananarama?
It was. That's incredible. How did you know that?
No.
It's absolutely extraordinary. Actually, it's the 15th century Norfolk gentry.
Oh, right, okay.
Which is admittedly quite an obscure one.
Not the 15th first-class century scored by a member of the Norfolk gentry.
No, but it probably should have been, though, shouldn't it? Happy birthday, Zaltz.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
We hugely enjoy having you on the programme, and we thought we'd just use this interval just to celebrate your birthday and play some of your best moments so far. And also, as well, you brought Jamie Smith's pads out, and the England team have done something for you as well. They have signed a shirt. Joe Root has signed it, one of their training tops. The only slight problem is that it's not easy to see where the signature is, but it is there. Okay.
Thanks very much.
There's a training top signed by Joe Root for you.
Much appreciated.
Thank you for bringing the pads out. There we go.
Well, waving my bat to all corners of the Multown.
For those people who've not caught up with the Jamie Smith pads story, what happened?
Well, I was called the day before or it might have been the day I was flying out on Friday after recording that news quiz, by someone from Grey Nichols who asked if I could take Jamie Smith's pads out.
Had he forgotten them then?
I'm not quite sure. I think there was something about a pair being stuck in India in transit for some reason. So yeah, since I had some space in my suitcase, then yeah, it seemed why not? I think maybe the media, by which I mean us, have made slightly too much of it. But it was a fun story.
Yeah, because if they'd phoned me, I'd have said no. Yeah.
But also, wicketkeepers shouldn't need pads. If you're hitting on the legs, you've made a mistake.
What's your favourite ever stat?
My favourite ever.
Can you answer that one? You couldn't answer the Mike Atherton question. What's your favourite ever stat?
My favourite ever. Well, I think there was one that we, in terms of stats that I've come up with on air during that Oval Test against Australia at the end of the Ashes, when England scored off every ball, I think the 6th and the 7th over. And I thought that seems unusual, so I dug around in the incredible CricViz database for all the ball-by-ball data they have, and teams scoring off every ball of an over in the first 10 overs of a Test match had almost never happened. I can't remember if it was like 3 or 4 instances in the entirety of Test history, and a couple of them have been when there were 4-ball overs right back in the early days. So that was I guess what I try to find stuff that helps illustrate the passage of the game and what you as commentators are talking about to help illustrate the story of the Test match. And I think that told a lot about that series, that England had been very positive. Australia set defensive fields. England then almost reined it in and accumulated. So it was a stat that was something really unusual, but it also illustrated what was going on in the game. So that's one of my favourite ones. But how do you choose a favourite stat? Like choosing a favourite child. Only I have thousands and thousands of stats. I need 2 children.
But you say you come up with things which help the narrative. But you also like a niche stat as well, don't you? Something fairly gratuitous.
Well, there's a place for everything. There's a place for every stat.
Your favourite gratuitous stat?
Gratuitous. I don't. Not I mean, in terms of a surprising stat, there was a couple of surprising stats. One was about Kumar Sangakkara, became one of the all-time greatest cricketers. Ended up averaging 57 in tests. I think 66 when he wasn't keeping wicket, but he didn't score a first-class century until his 50th match, and most of those were playing in Sri Lankan domestic cricket, where generally run scoring is quite prolific. So the fact that he didn't get 100 for so long at the start of his career, then became almost the perfect batter, it kind of tells a tale of his improvement through his career. Another was Stuart Broad with the bat in his first 25 home tests. I think he averaged about 38, 39, which is more than Wally Hammond, one of the greats of English batsmanship in the 1920s and 30s, in his first 25 home tests, more than Ken Barrington or Graham Gooch in their first 25 home tests. So that was quite and again, it told a story of how good Broad was with the bat in those early years of his career. Sometimes
stats get away from you, don't you? Because you do some prep, because you think, I can see this might happen, this might happen, and then you can see next year when it doesn't happen. When it doesn't happen, you get it's a bit sad, actually.
Well, I hate it when a good stat dies, Simon. Yeah. So the one with the Pakistan openers today, with a 7th consecutive single-figure stand. It was something I was just doing a bit of prep in the last couple of days, and I thought they had a lot of failures at the top of the order, so I thought I wonder where that opening partnership sits, and then the stat emerged, and then it became a unique occurrence.
So that didn't get away. What about ones that did get away? Can you remember any of those or not?
I can't remember.
No. Okay, that's fair enough.
It's too harrowing to talk about.
You love this job so much, don't you? I mean, you do have this other role as being the presenter of the news quiz. You've actually given up that for 3 weeks to come out here.
Yes, yes, I have. I mean, it was difficult, and I've been lucky since I took over the news quiz late in 2020. There's not been too many clashes with cricket. There's been a few we've had to start the recording late, and I've gone straight from Lords or the Oval. We recorded one in Nottingham this year, so the news quiz has been very accommodating, and they were very good of them to let me have a few episodes off, and they've got some very good people standing in. Jeff Norcott, Lucy Porter and Ian Smith are doing an episode each for the rest of the series, available BBC 4 Friday nights at 6:30, Saturdays at 12:30, and of course on BBC Sounds.
You can hear it on podcast or whatever. So that suggests that actually you do have this other life of being a stand-up and being a comedian, but cricket is your absolute out there love.
Well, yes, I've been obsessed with cricket since I was 6 years old in the 1981 summer of Ian Botham, and my dad bought me a couple of books later that year that had Bill Frindle's scorecards in, who was one of my predecessors in this hallowed stats chair, and I became obsessed with the stats. It became pretty clear early on in my playing career that I was not going to trouble the international selectors, but I just loved the game. I loved the stories of it. I loved the numbers that it created, and it's it's a great privilege to do this job.
Yeah. It's tea, by the way. The players will be back very shortly. Just having a chat with Andy. It's his 50th birthday, and he's he does all these things, and he loves his cricket more than anything.
Well, also, I mean, when I'm working on Test Match Special, I'm talking about cricket, which is a joyous pastime for humanity and a distraction. When I'm doing the news quiz or my podcast or stand-up, then I'm having to deal with some pretty heavy news stories and try to create or find some comedy in it. So this is obviously more enjoyable in terms of the cleansing of the soul.
There must be quite a lot going on in your brain there, because they to me they seem like quite diametrically opposed things. Being a comedian and because stats can be quite dry, can't they?
They can be dry. I think there's I guess the one commonality in terms of the way I try to do comedy, the way I try to do statistics, is to try and look at things laterally and find interesting angles that aren't necessarily immediately obvious. Whether I succeed in that or not, it's not for me to say. But so I try to find the stats that maybe aren't immediately obvious, but help, as I say, illustrate the story of a game or a series.